Hey, what's up, everybody? How are you? I don't know. I know it's kind of stupid that I start off every show with me chugging a bottle of water and stuff, but I don't know. There's just like weird little things you do that people remember you by. A lot of stupid stuff. I don't know if you guys realize this. If you noticed that when I write not my real name, but what up, Raymond B? How are you, buddy? It was good talking to you the other day. Thank you for the text and stuff. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Like, I do like little weird things that actually, Iggy T, what up? That I don't know if people like even realize that I do it. But when I write my Tuddle name, my Nelly Mandingo, like all the All Stars are in today. But I write my Tuddle, Tuddle, with a lowercase t. Now, sometimes I mess up because it autocorrects it as a proper like word, and it does sometimes capitalize it. But if you look at my Twitter profile, at Tuddle is a lowercase t, and then the name at the top of the Twitter is lowercase t. I don't know. It's just the way that it was. If I'm being honest, the original person that created my Twitter account was my ex-wife. That was actually one of the best things she did for me. If I'm just being completely honest on it. Well, I mean, you're putting it up, so people always know. If you see a capital T, I always just put it up there. Now, when I'm titling something, I will do every single word like uppercase. But I was looking at this, guys. If you look at my email, it is just like straight Tuddle, Tuddle. It's not Tuddle with like numbers or at the real Tuddle or at the Tuddle. And I was lucky to get that Gmail because my cousin told me when Gmail first came out, I was like, oh, yeah, you need to jump on this. So I got on there. And then when I was married, like, MySpace.com/Tuddle. And then if you go to my Facebook, Facebook.com/Tuddle. Instagram.com/Tuddle. Twitter.com/Tuddle. I was able to get them because my wife jumped on all of them immediately. My ex-wife, that she would be like grabbing those for me because when I first started in radio, all we had was MySpace. That's all we had, and then Facebook, and then Twitter, and I just didn't see the appeal at first when it came to Twitter. But she got those, and if you notice, after my divorce, I ended up getting TikTok. TikTok, if you look at that, that is TikTok.com/Tuddle on the radio. That's the only one. And with my OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, I do. That bothers the hell out of me. I have a Snapchat, but I don't think I've ever even posted on it. And that's not straight Tuddle as well either. Maybe that's why I don't pay as much attention to those social medias because they're not just Tuddle. And I know this is probably boring for you guys to hear, but like I like to let you inside my mind just to see how it works. Tomorrow's Tuddle Daily podcast is already posted, and it's a good one. It's a really good one. On today's show, I kind of just briefly talked about the problems we had with the owner of the Hobo Fish Camp over the weekend. I had the cops called on me once again. And I wasn't even sweating at people because this time around it was just ridiculous. And then I had a conversation with Hannah from Canada. She was an intern on my show when I first started it. And it took me a lot of willpower to not listen until tomorrow. Um, yeah. I mean, otherwise I won't have anything to listen to. No, I get it. Look, I like for it to be up a little bit a day ahead of time because I don't promote it until the next day. The only place I promote it at is here on the YouTube channel. So for the people that check out the YouTube channel, they will know that hey, they get a little inside Iggy, no pun intended, Iggy T, on what's going on. But I talked to Hannah, and there's a lot of drama there. I had Hannah on, and she was talking about her pregnancy. I think she had just turned 21 and ended up getting pregnant by this hipster looking dude that's a tattoo artist up in Canada. And he actually is not keeping up with his end of the bargain when it comes to being a baby daddy. And so I had Hannah on. She talks a little bit about the labor. I found this really, really fascinating. I was asking her how long the labor took, and we got into talking about if things got a little messed up down there. I see. I gotta be careful. And if you're in the chat room right now, give me a thumbs up. It does help me. Hit that little like button. But Hannah actually said because she's not a really. I'm not saying she's curvy, but she's skinny, and for as skinny as she is, she does have curves. And I asked her, I was like, "Did you get a C-section?" And she was like, "Nope, had it the good old-fashioned way." And I was like, "With as small as you are, well, she's not short, but I was saying like, did it mess things up there?" And she said that, "Oh, $10 coming in. I can't wait to see who it's coming from." Got a super chat. Don't forget, I am now monetized. If you guys want to throw some money, Raymond B coming in with $10. Damn, Raymond. Raymond's making a lot of you guys look bad. And I know you probably don't care. We only got 5 people watching right now from what it looks like. I mean, it could be more. Could be more. But she said that after her pregnancy, she was actually more snug. I think that's a. Is snug more acceptable than tight? See, I just said it. And that's why I said snug. Because I can almost guarantee you, and I know Vulture is in the chat room right now. I can almost guarantee you, Vulture, that we're going to get partially demonetized on that one. No, but Iggy T, she said that, like, it felt more snug. And I don't even know how that's possible. My dad used to make this joke because you guys know that I have an extremely large head. I wear a 7 5/8 fitted cap. And I always make the joke. Because, we also talked about this. Um, when did they stop having sex when she was pregnant? Iggy T, I know you're in right now, but how close to the pregnancy did you and your husband stop having sex? Because Hannah said it was like right up until the very last minute that they had sex. And I always wondered, I do have like a little dent right here. Right here. And my mom and dad always told me when I was older was like, yeah, we were banging all the way until the day before you were born. And I was like, holy crap. And then later on in life, I was wondering about that little dent right there in my scalp. And I was like, oh, I put 2 and 2 together. The head of my dad's penis put that dent there. I can only say. I'm just saying. I mean, what else could it be? I've never really ever been in any like accident where I could like account for where that little dent came from. And no, we didn't do a penis impression like you would do with a bite or something. I didn't like say, "Hey dad, can we do a mold of your penis?" And, we can kind of match it to see if it fits the dent on top of my head. But like I've read a lot of places, and a lot of people have even said that it actually does help out with labor. I don't know how true that is. And do you finish not outside, but the other way? No, I'm just being dead honest. Like, is that disrespectful if you blast in your chick the day before your son or daughter is about to be born? I don't know. Isn't that like, I mean, look, I know like parents bang up until the pregnancy, but and that's most likely why I have that dent in the top of my head. But aren't you like shooting a bunch of what could be your brothers and sisters? And you're going to be in that embryonic fluid, and they're just swimming around. And, you're going to live, you're going to be born soon. And you're seeing all your like little brothers and sisters swimming around, and you're like, yeah, you're too late. Iggy T, my dad was pretty gifted, if you know what I'm saying, because I did find Polaroids. I've talked about this story all the time. I did find some nude Polaroids. Oh, I've definitely had some scares in my life, and I've even used the Plan B, you know, the little abortion pill. Well, I don't even know if you can call it abortion pill, but yeah, I have used those before. But like, I have barely, rarely ever done that in my life. This is back in my partying days in my early 20s. And that's the thing about it, okay? This is how stupid guys are. This is how stupid guys are. But like, you can see as a guy why you wouldn't want to do this. And I learned this cuz it's happened to me before where I did not have a condom on me. And this is where I learned my mistake there. That I didn't have a condom on me. I went to the store to go get one, and by the time I came back, the chick had changed her mind, or she was just out of the mood. Like, if there's any younger guys that are watching this, like, you're taking a big risk if you're walking around without protection, and you got to go to the store. Because when you got a woman in your bed and she's ready to go, you got to remember, women change their minds all the time. So what would make you think the same thing wouldn't apply when it comes to having sex with him? Because I did come back and she was ready to leave. Maybe like she sobered up a little bit. Maybe she was like, ugh, I'm having second thoughts here about having sex with this nerd. And it didn't happen. But the next time that came around, and I didn't even think I even had a chance with this one girl. And, like, because she was way out of my league. Way out of my league. And the only reason, and I'm just being honest, was because, look, this is before I started, like, taking care of myself, like, appearance-wise. Like, using moisturizer, getting haircuts, being clean-shaved, not downstairs, but here. And I didn't think I had a chance. And most of the time, well, I'll tell you guys this now, the only reason I lost my virginity was because I was on the radio. Like I did. I got a lot of, I don't know, you could even call it sympathy sex. And like I didn't lose my virginity until I was working in radio. I was 19 when I lost my virginity. This is one girl, she listened to me on the radio. She was absolutely obsessed. And she kept calling the show every single day, every single day. And then, like, I would get some of the live appearances. and we were doing an event at the Pink Pony Strip Club in Daytona Beach. It's on Ridgewood Avenue, and it was an amateur strip night. And I didn't know this chick did not tell me that this is leading up to the first time I ever had sex. So she entered the amateur strip contest. I don't know, to kind of show out or get my attention. Like she was like, because we would interview the women after they got done dancing. And one of the questions we asked all of them was like, why did you decide to do this? Because these were all amateurs. And she put me right on the spot. Like, when I asked her, like, what made you decide to do this? She was like, it was, the only reason was to get your attention, to get the attention of Tuddle. And we hung out. We hung out the rest of the night. And you got to remember, when I was working in Daytona Beach, I was the producer. We had Bo Rhodes at the time. He's from the Monsters. He was a big partier back then as well, too. And being 19, I had to stay in Daytona to babysit him, to drive him around and make sure he didn't get into trouble. And Bo lived with the program director of the radio station. And he was the biggest alcoholic in the world. I think he had just gotten off of suspension because he got caught smoking a joint on one of those riverboat casino tour things. So he just got back from that, and it was a 2-bedroom. But I would most likely most of the nights I would crash on their couch. So I brought her home. And come to find out, Dave Despain, the program director, had passed out, had a beer bottle in between his legs. I'm surprised I didn't come back and the place wasn't on fire because he had a smoking cigarette in his right hand. And I didn't want to wake him up because I didn't know, like, if he was going to be like, hey, why are you bringing some random girl into... But you know what, though? He couldn't judge. He'd just gotten back from a suspension. So I was kind of like the facilitator of them. And I ended up losing my virginity, having sex with a girl. It was completely protected. With my program director at 93.1 The Crow, WKRO in Daytona Beach, with my program director passed out, drunk, and alcoholic comatose. And yeah, that's how I lost my virginity. How romantic is that? Man, I need to start maybe once a week. Because, like, I want to go through my career in more detail, like, from every aspect, every radio station or radio show I worked on, and talk about it. Because the reason I want to do that is I've been watching on Disney Plus. I didn't want to watch it. I'd never been a big Beatles fan. And I'll admit, the only reason I wasn't was because I'm one of those guys, and I know that I shouldn't do it. No, I did not bang Drunk by Noon Dawn. I threw her out of the room because she thought she was going to sleep in, because the hotel that they got us was a 1-bedroom, king bed. She wanted to sleep in. Nope. I said, your ass is going to be out on the couch. I pushed her out, locked it. I had to put a bunch of towels underneath of it. Oh, dude. Well, we'll get into that. Well, just listen to tomorrow's show, because we're not going to be here very, very long. It's not that we're getting kicked out. We're just, see ya. Deuces. God, I sounded really, really like a poser by saying deuces. But yeah, my mom's tired of it. I'm tired of her getting harassed. The guy that owns this park made my mom cry this weekend. So I'll leave it at that. Just listen to tomorrow's podcast. But the reason why I want to go through the aspect is because if you guys haven't done it yet, and the only reason I haven't watched the Beatles is because I tend to not watch things that are trending on Twitter or things that are popular. And doesn't that make me like a bigger poser than I already am by not watching something that is actually good or listening to something that's good just because it's popular? But the documentary that Peter Jackson directed and produced, Get Back, it's on Disney Plus. It's about the Beatles. And I'm like fascinated now. Like I'm going back and look, that's how you know how big they are. Oh yeah, what? Listen to the show, Iggy Team. Just listen to it. Oh, we definitely are. We definitely are. But that's how you know you're really popular when the people that refuse to listen to your stuff actually knows every single song. Because I did. This Get Back documentary, whoever came up with the idea to actually film all this, because reality TV did not start until like the late 90s, early 2000. Maybe one of the first reality shows was The Real World. But they filmed everything. So the Beatles do their whole American invasion, and then they come back, they take a break. They hadn't performed. Dude, like okay. I see that's the thing about the live stream. I'm all over the place, but I like to take questions as they come in. I'm liking the Doctor Who flux this year, but it look, I never have a hard time like keeping up with stuff, but they're just jumping all over the place, and I can usually figure out where they're gonna end the story, like how they're gonna end it, but I can't. It's just all over the place. I'm not saying that it's not good, but it just seems like they did this whole thing for nostalgia because they're throwing in all the bad guys, the favorite bad guys. You got the Sunturans, you got the Weeping Angels, the Cybermen, the Daleks, the Ood. And I know a lot of you guys don't even know what the hell I'm talking about by that. But back to this thing though, I'm watching this and it's fascinating because they come back. They haven't toured with each other or played live in almost 2 years with each other, and they want to record a live album. And the first episode, by the way, 2.5 hours long. There's like 5 episodes, but they wanted to write a new album for this live event. And it was just so fascinating to see the way that they were writing. And the one thing I thought about, so they were writing some of the big hits, and they have these notebooks with all the lyrics handwritten by Paul McCartney, John Lennon. And the first thing that I could think of, does it make me weird when I saw that notebook? I was like, I wonder how much that is worth. Like if it's still around, I mean, you're talking six figures, maybe even a mil or more, because not only is it the original lyrics, it was written by the artist. And before I go, one of the things I kind of see why everybody thinks Yoko Ono broke up the band, because you will start seeing a lot of bickering. Not a lot of bickering, just warning signs of like, yeah, they're not going to be lasting too long. And all the Beatles were there. You had Ringo, George, Paul, John, and they're all there. They're at work. I could see that. I could see that. I did like that character, the female master. But the other three Beatles did not have their chicks with them. And technically, they're at work right now. who brings their woman to work? Because John was the only one. And when I say they were attached at the hip, Yoko was sitting so close to him, like you couldn't even play the guitar properly. And I was just like, it was just really, really, really weird. So if you guys get a chance, check out the documentary Get Back. It's about the Beatles. I'm interested to see where they go with the rest of the documentary, but it's really, really fascinating. It's on Disney Plus. Hold on, bad timing and not now. To sidetrack again, but tape from about the Hogan tape. Um, uh, I didn't read the whole thing because it disappeared pretty quickly. But Nelly Mandingo, were you talking about just Cliff Notes version? Did I ever explain the tape to authorities from my perspective, or my opinion on like who was the guilty parties? A lot of people want to blame Bubba for releasing it. What did you mean? I'm sorry. I don't want to go off on a rant if I don't know what the question is. Matter of fact, can you text it to me? Text it to me and I will use it for content tomorrow on the audio podcast. Um, yeah, hey, you got my number, Natalie Mandingo. Can you text me like it's an email? And I would like to use that for the audio podcast tomorrow. Is that okay? Seriously, I got a lot of stuff to do. My mom is looking at more places tomorrow. We actually went and looked because I'm not saying my parents were wealthy or are wealthy, but they did pretty well for themselves. And she's ready to go buy a place, a home with straight cash money, homie. Yeah, I'm looking, but I mean, the only thing in Tampa for me is like I do have other radio connections in Tampa, but Bubba doesn't want me. Nobody at the Bone wants me. It's not like I'm friends with people at the Bone. It's just it just won't work. But Tampa, the only reason I even go to Tampa is because of Colton. I mean, I try to go at least once a month to visit with Colton. I just recently did that, and I'm going to do it right before Christmas. Because I do. His mom and dad are family. We're not blood related, but man, like I owe so much to Colton and his mom and dad. Like I would have never had that last stint on Bubba's show when I started in 2015 if it wasn't for Colton and his parents, because well, I did live at Bubba's race shop. And then I got fired, then I came back. So it might have been 2016 when I started living with Colton. I have to get into that because they really have done so much for me. Oh, by the way, I have an appearance on Tom and Dan in person in their studio this Friday because I guess it's like a job interview, and there's going to be the other guy. It's down to two people, and it's me. I think Seth. I don't even know. Like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about this because I don't know if I'm allowed to. I don't even know if they've talked about it. So I'm going to leave it at that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's live stream. I hope you guys have a great night. Make sure you check out the Tuddle Daily podcast, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.